That Virginia Democrats are playing defense in 4 congressional races is another reminder that Virginia politics has become nationalized. It used to be that voters here largely ignored events beyond our borders to back the guy they knew, Democrat or Republican. In effect, Virginians went to the polls to elect their neighbors. They'd choose someone like themselves, someone with whom they were philosophically simpatico. But then anger emerged as the great motivator. Bright line politics that gave people the excuse to get really steamed about the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, about illegal immigration, and of course the economy. It doesn't seem that Democratic incumbents in Southwest Virginia, the Washington suburbs, South Side, and Hampton Roads can do much this year except run like heck from Barack Obama, the guy who built nationally the kind of coalition that used to keep Virginia Democrats in power. In the fight in Ninth, Rick Boucher talks about the pork he delivers for that impoverished district, be it a veterans cemetery or infotech services. Republican Morgan Griffith attempts guilt by association. He can't mention Boucher's name without mentioning Obama or Nancy Pelosi. Better Griffith talk about that than the fact that he doesn't even live in the district. Up in Northern Virginia, Jerry Connolly is in a rematch with Keith Fimian. But it's Conley, who sounds like a Republican, favoring extension of the Bush tax cuts, and perhaps coming across as somewhat nativist on illegal immigration. The Conley-Fimian contest could be a bellwether. If a Democrat loses in those usually blue D.C. suburbs, then it could be a very bad night nationally for the party. Along the seacoast, Democrat Glenn Nye is running against one of Bob McDonnell's best friends, a rich car dealer named Scott Ridgel. Voters know Ridgel's name and face from his car ads, and this year they're in the market for an anti-Obama model. Among the reasons, cuts in defense spending that could cost thousands of jobs. Nye's not helping himself, particularly with Democrats. His votes against health care reform and cap and trade may be excuses for Democrats to vote against him, or maybe not at all. And finally, there's Tom Perriello. The Democrat won the closest House race in the country 2 years ago thanks to Obama's coattails. But in poor, heavily rural, read conservative South Side Virginia, bigger government and bigger spending are about as popular as sucker worms on tobacco. Perriello, for the most part, has been a team player for Obama, not running from tough votes such as health care. Perriello has raised a ton of money, and that'll help. But is it enough to prevent him from becoming a one-term wonder? His opponent, Robert Hurt, has a big advantage, an R after his name. Shoot, voters in the 5th are so steamed they don't seem to care that Hurt, as a state legislator, committed what this year is an unpardonable sin. He backed $1 billion in new taxes. But of course, anger has a way of clouding the mind. For TimesDispatch.com, this is Jeff Shapiro.